Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. I think that we should kick off today's discussion with Donald Trump, of course. Donald Trump, to me, is exhibiting all of the indicators of somebody who's really not in control of their faculties, or all of their faculties anyway, which represents a really big problem for us here in the UK, because the United Kingdom's security stance is indelibly tied to the United States military. Most of our weapons come from the United States. Our fighter planes come from the United States. There's always been an 80-year-old alliance between the US and the UK and the rest of Europe, for that matter, the rest of NATO, with regard to Atlantic security, Arctic security, Eastern European security, etc. Now, I think that Donald Trump is unhinged. That goes without saying. So then the question has to come, how do the world leaders respond to that? Now, I'm personally of the view, in a way, that one way to respond to Donald Trump is ignore him. Because at the end of the day, he's an 80-year-old man. He's going to die soon. I doubt that he'll see out his term at the White House, whether he dies or he doesn't. And it's a case of being patient. And if we're patient, I think the Europeans and us here in the UK, we'll just start where we left off with the previous administration. Things will return to normal. We'll have normalised relationships, normalised security arrangements, etc. Now, I think that Donald Trump, I think there's a bigger picture here. I think Donald Trump is having behind closed doors conversations with Vladimir Putin and possibly Xi Jinping as well. Who knows? Certainly with Putin. And that can only be bad for us in the short term. But I think in the longer term, common sense will prevail. More Americans do not want NATO to fail than do. There's a very, very small elite of people in the US that want to crap all over an 80-year-old alliance like NATO and destroy it. I mean, the letter that Trump sent to Norway was nothing short of unbelievable, actually. Extraordinary is a really good word. He's carried on like a petulant child. I didn't get what I wanted, so therefore I'm going to hit you. Essentially, that's schoolyard bully tactics. And that's basically what Trump is. Trump has been a coward all his life. You know, he dodged the draft, and most cowards try to project an image of power. And it's only when they're challenged front on that they back down. And unfortunately, because he has medical grade narcissism, the world leaders, the European leaders in particular, have tried to dance around his ego rather than actually saying, look, enough's enough. And I think the time's come for the world, not just the Europeans and the UK, but for the whole world to say to Donald Trump, enough is enough. And the United States population, you voted him in. This is your fault. Now, even those that didn't vote him in, you still have a responsibility to stop him destroying the lifestyles of lots and lots of other people around the world, not to mention their security, which I think is the most important thing. He's going to downsize the US military. That's clearly happening. Now, there's another agenda here. Nothing ever happens in isolation. So Trump has an agenda. The question you have to ask yourselves, if you're living in America, is what is that agenda? Now he's trying to turn your country into a police state. You know, he's trying to get the people of Minneapolis to rise up against the ICE agents so that he can invoke the Insurrection Act, so that he can put the army on the streets. Now, this is not the action of a president of a democracy. This is the action of an autocrat and a despot. This is the sort of crap you would expect out of Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, obviously the Iranians and others. People like Netanyahu, who have no regard for human life. They have no regard for anybody that disagrees with them politically, religiously, or any other way. When you throw into that mix that Donald Trump's only interest in life is money, it has never been anything but money, with a side serving of young girls, of course. But other than that, he's motivated by whoever's got the biggest paycheck. You know, that you can see the way he grovels and suckles himself around people with influence and with money. And unfortunately for us, those same people, the Bezoses of the world and the Bill Gateses of the world and the Elon Musks of the world, they're all doing the same back to him. They're so far up his arse it hurts. And these people have no shame. You know, I'll chuck Zuckerberg into that mix as well, because they've got no shame. And this will all come home to roost at some point. Don't forget, during the 1930s and the 1940s, when they all worshipped one man, they were immune from prosecution until the war ended. Then they all got hung. So, you know, you're only immune from prosecution. You're only immune from the consequences of your actions, Christy Nome, until you're no longer in power. And then the incumbent will definitely turn back a lot of the mess that Donald Trump has done. The Kennedy Center will be renamed again. The Rose Garden will be reinstated. They'll probably bulldoze his new stupid ballroom at the White House, and they'll try to wipe out the stain that has been Donald Trump on the United States.